Hi, I'm Steve from the Stonecrafting Workshop. Welcome. Today I'm going to do a review of this. It's the Parkside Air Multi Tool. It's a multi-tool, which means it's got a vibrating head and has cutters and sanders attachments with it and what have you. I've had this for quite a while. It's another tool I've had for several months and I've never even opened the box. So we'll do a box opening exercise and then I'll connect it up to an air supply and put it through its paces and see just what sort of jobs it does. So this is the model. It's the Air Multi Tool PDMFW 15A1. So it's never been opened. I can't even remember why I decided to buy it. Another impulse buy in Lidl's. And there we go. There's the usual book of words. I expect I'll read those eventually. There's a set of tools. They look very similar, if not the same, as the tools in the electric sets. Let me just get some out. And they're not quite the same fitting. They haven't got the open end to the fitting plate. So we'll have a look at that a bit later. So you've got some tools. You've got some sanding discs, the backing plate for the sanding disc, a scraper. You have a little bottle of oil. You have an Allen key, that's ominous. And the tool itself. The tool itself is very small, very compact. Look in your hands. Just wondering how the tools fit. This looks fairly not my idea of fun. So you just locate the tool. There's a set of pins around the fitting plate and you simply locate that over and fit it with an Allen key. The electrical version has a quick release lever for releasing and adjusting the tools. So that seems like a slightly retrograde move, but then I'm guessing it's to keep the machine, the actual tool itself, compact, and it certainly is that. Right, I'm going to read the instructions, plug it on, and then we'll see it going. It's certainly very neat and tidy. Feels very heavy duty, as it should do for an air tool. We shall see what we shall see. So the first thing we need to know is that the maximum working pressure of this is 6.3 bars. Now on my compressor I've got a pressure control valve and I've turned it down to 6.3 bars, and if you can't do that and your compressor is rated higher, then you can't use this. I've already mentioned the tools it comes with. I've taken them out of their packets. There's a backing plate for the sanding discs. And there's 6 sanding discs in the packet, but these are easy to get hold of. This is coming in a range from 80 down to 240 grit. It has a segmented saw. Both of the blades, there's a saw blade, a segmented blade, a depth blade. They're both for timber. They're not metal rated. And there's a scraper. I don't often use scrapers. So what I'll do now, I'll set up a few jobs to do. It's quite noisy. As you can hear, all air tools are noisy. This is simply directs the airflow and you can change the direction of it. That's all that does. It's also worth noting that there's no speed control on this. It's going to be working at absolutely full speed all the time unless you put a tap in the airline, and I don't know what the effect of that would be, but I can simulate that effect by turning down the pressure on my compressor valve And I'll do that as I'm working through. I'll try it at a couple of lower pressures to see how it operates and whether that makes much difference. The vibration speed is rated on this 18,000 revs per minute. The revs per minute on my cordless version of this multi-tool is 19,000, so there's not a lot in it. So as I say, I'm going to fit out some tools and try out a few functions on it. First of all, let's try the plunge saw. Let's put it on an angle. I find this method of fitting a little bit fiddly after using the lever action fitting on the electrical tools. It calls it in the instruction booklet an easy fit way of fitting, but I don't think it is. I think it's a bit. So let's try cutting a bit of board. This is a piece of flooring, laminate flooring. It's really hard, and I know my electric one cuts it. Now there's something annoying. The tool holder has come loose already. I suppose being fair, maybe I didn't whack it up hard enough. Let's try it again. Well, it works, and this is hard board. I think this is a hard test for this to start out. A piece of skirting board. It didn't need tightening up, so obviously whacking it up tight works okay. What I'm going to try and do now, I'm going to cut this through, and I'm really going to put pressure on it. If I was to do that using an electric one, it would cut out. They have a thermal cutout, but you've not got that with this tool, so let's try it. Lots of vibration, lots of noise. And pressing hard doesn't speed it up at all. You're much better off just using the weight of the machine and letting it go like that. So that's the plunge saw. It works on timber. Let's try the segment saw, which is also a timber saw. And you would normally use a segment saw for cutting out a square hole, for instance, in a bit of timber or plasterboard. You can see the changeover of the tool is a little bit fiddly, so tighten up the tool again quite thoroughly. Let's just try making a cut in this using the segment blade. Try it upright. That's a little bit more awkward like that. Anyway, that works. It cuts. Fairly slow going through wood. How does it compare to the electric version? Very similar, I think, to be honest. There's a safety switch on the trigger, and you have to pull the trigger up just so it clicks in the safety position for when you're changing the tool. Let's just try a sanding disc on it. I do love the sanding action on these kind of tools. I think they're a really useful sander. Well, that works as well. It's probably no different in power or use than the electrical versions. One comment I would make about this sanding attachment is that on the electrical versions there's a fitting to use a vacuum cleaner on it, a vacuum suction to take the dust away. Let's try it with a blade from that you buy as replacement blades. So this is an error bore from Screwfix, and it has a kind of universal fitting. If you look at the slots, they're all elongated, so it's made to fit various tools. Let's put it that way round at an angle. One of the good things about these tools is the way that you can change the angle of cut. Not fond of this fitting. Fiddly. And I wonder if it'll hold with the slot at the back of this blade. Not going all the way round. Give it a little bit of welly when I'm tightening it up. Right, so that works using one of these universal blades from Erebor. So I've now reduced the pressure on my airline down to 4 bars, just to see, you know, I assume it's just going to work slower. Okay. I can only think of one reason why you would want to use it at a lower speed, a lower pressure, and that's to use the scraper. Let's try it with this scraper. This is a universal scraper. It's actually a Parkside one, but it's got this open-ended thing, and you should be able to just slide that underneath and locate it. It's much easier to fit. I don't know why they would have a different design on the head. It's a puzzle. There we go. And let's try doing a bit of scraping. You see, I'm digging in. It's what I find with scrapers. It may just be me. I'm not a great woodworker. But you'd certainly want it at that low speed. And I'm guessing if you were scraping a hard surface, like a stone surface that had glue or something on it, that would work quite well. That would work really well, actually. I'm being a bit dismissive of a tool that's probably not working that well because of me. But I can't see there being many other reasons for having the tool on a low setting. Although there's no metal blade that comes with the actual air tool, you can buy these little blades made for metal cutting. I've got one here from the Parkside kit, these replacement blade kits, and one of them is a metal cutting blade. Let's just try it out, shall we? So I much prefer using universal or replacement blades because they have this open-ended back and they're quicker to put on and off. You don't have to take the little screw thread out. I've put the pressure back up to 6 bars. I can't see you ever needing, quite honestly, to put a tap on it, but only if you were going to use it a lot for scraping, as far as I can see. Okay, let's try cutting the screw. Well, I'm not going to continue with that, that's taking too long. There's better ways of cutting metal, and it's coming loose. So there we are, the Parkside Air Multi Tool. What do I think of it? Well, mixed feelings. I don't like the screw fitting of the blades on the top. I think because you have to whack them up so hard to keep the tools from coming loose, I think you're very quickly going to wear out that Allen key fitting, and you're going to end up wanting to replace the little screw fitting. If I was going to use this a lot, I would use the universal tools, simply because they'd be quicker taking on and off. You don't have to take the screw out completely and fiddle about and relocate it. The safety switch works okay. As I say, you have to pick up the trigger and it just clicks into place, and then you can't turn it on accidentally. There's no speed control, no power control. You'd have to do that yourself, either using a control valve on your compressor or putting a tap in the airline. But quite honestly, I can't ever imagine trying to use this at a lower power and speed than you've got at the 6 bars, the maximum 6.3 bars. It's a bit noisy. It's noisier than an electric one. I don't think it's any more powerful than an electric one. Would I buy one? Well, I obviously did buy one, but I can't quite remember why. I certainly wouldn't buy another one. I'd buy an electric one, either a cordless or a corded one. That's my conclusion. Buy an electric one. The other thing to mention is that I've got a big compressor with a big receiver on it, and this uses a fair amount of air. I don't know how it would work if you've got one of those little hobby compressors. So as I say, I think an electric version, either the cordless or the 240-volt multi-tool from Parkside, are much better options than this tool. If you use one of these and you have a specific reason, please leave a comment in the comments box below letting us know why you think it's a good tool and why you use it, because I'm struggling to think of a reason as to why anybody would buy this. Thanks for watching. I hope this review is useful to you. If it is, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more tool reviews, please subscribe to the channel. It's really useful having subscribers. You can never have too many. Thanks for watching.